right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Late to the Party Movie Reviews. We review movies that are a minimum of 10 years old and see how they hold up today. Today we are reviewing Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Hey.
1975 released. It's got a whopping 97%. Yeah, that's when the Scots and I were born. It's got a 97 tomato meter and a 95 audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. And all of the reviews are wonderful for it. It seems like there's a lot of victims of nostalgia that are huge fans of this movie. Let's see, starring John Cleese, Terry Gilliam, Eric Idle, Graham Chapman, Terry Jones of the famed Monty Python crew, coming out of Britain, and their great things. Am I missing anybody, Scott?
Yeah, Michael Palin.
Michael Palin, yo.
Come on now.
Oh, wow. Well, these are the top 5 that it has on my computer screen that I'm reading off of here.
What about the man himself, Monty Python?
All right, so let's see. We'll start off with why do we think this movie was popular at the time? And I'm just going to caboose everybody. I'm going to let everybody go first. Oh, you know what? Let's do intros first. Make the great host of Late to the Party. We'll go next to the Scots.
Liz from Fat Collectibles. I feel silent like done my hey what I normally do.
I'm Josh and I belong to Liz.
A Liz collectible. All
That's
right,
right.
Isaac, Comic Cave.
Lego.
From the Comic Cave.
And Caveman Jose.
All right. Welcome, everybody. Late to the party. Let's get cracking. We'll start with the Scots. Why do you think this movie was popular at the time?
I think that's easy to answer. Monty Python had been a sitcom, a sketch show that had been taking place in Great Britain at that time for several years beforehand. So I think that there was a general level of popularity just on the basis of that. I'm sure that a lot of our parents' generation who were enjoying that kind of stuff in their, early adulthood probably were very excited to see another Python movie come out. I'm not sure. I'm sure you did some of the research on it, but I think this might have been their last movie.
I didn't go that deep into it. I had a hard time with this one, guys. I'll be honest with you.
Well, I think Graham Chapman, who played King Arthur, I think during this movie he got diagnosed with cancer, and I think he died not long after it.
Right.
So I think this was their final film. I'm not 100%, but I think that's the case.
Oh, rest in peace. He probably died from watching this movie.
How dare you?
No, we already said it's cancer, fool. The big C got him.
Hey,
And that's
all right.
the thing is that when they do their reviews again, or they do their get-togethers, they always have an urn sitting on one of the chairs next to them.
That's funny. Okay, that's funny. That's funny. I like that.
One time it got knocked over and they just pulled out a dustbuster and just started cleaning it up. They're like, "Oh, sorry," and they're scooping it back in. Yeah, that's so. They're still rocking.
That's great. All right, let's roll over to the cave. What do you think, Isaac?
I really liked it a lot because it had all that craziness of sketch comedy, and it was just different sketches, but in this big movie. And I loved how you keep seeing the same people playing different characters. And that right there was genius from that era. And then watching again, I was like, damn, dude, this reminds me a lot of what Simpsons does and what South Park does. Those guys were all highly influenced by the Monty Python crew, for sure. A lot of the comedies that we all see and love, they go back and they throw back some of that comedy that this movie had a lot of. I can't even name what scenes, but every time I watched the scene that they did, I was like, oh yeah, that's something that you would see in Family Guy for sure, or this is something you would see in South Park. Everybody that now does comedy has always influenced by this film for sure.
Oh yeah.
Definitely.
Lego?
I kind of just I feel the same way as Isaac, man. It was one sketch after the next, and they were kind of loosely tied together with the idea of like getting the Grail, but they were all self-contained. Like you could play any of those sketches and they'd all be hilarious. They were only like loosely tied together, and then there was like some fourth wall breaking where they talked about their place in the movie, and I really liked it. I thought it was a really well-rounded movie, and it was, for me, a perfect comedy.
A perfect comedy. Wonderful.
Perfect.
Jose.
Yo, man, 1975. My pops was 6 years old when that thing came out. But yeah, I'm big on paying respect where it's due, and just watching this movie, kind of like the guy said, seeing it. I'm a huge fan of Dave Chappelle and the Chappelle Show and stuff like that. I love seeing stuff like Mad TV, and just seeing that. Like No Prior Contact. Just watching that movie, I was like, yo, I can tell that so many of the things that we see today, whatever it is, breaking the fourth wall, stuff like I don't know, Deadpool, just a bunch of Rick and Morty references, just a bunch of Simpsons references. Like almost everybody pays homage to that movie, and I didn't even realize it. Like when I first watched it, was a minute ago, like a while ago. I didn't really, I thought that it was funny for what it was. I thought it was freaking hilarious. I loved it. What it was talking about religion, talking about how these knights in shining armor aren't all just knights in shining armor. Yo, these guys are murderers, man. You're like, yo, they're legit killing people, yo. I love how they did the whole riff on like King Arthur. I'm your king. You got to bow to him. He's like, yo, I didn't vote for you. What you talking about? Like, I love that. Like watching that, and then now looking back at it with more, seeing a lot more, like I said, comics and sketches, cartoon and everything. I'm like, yo, they're paying homage each and every time to what these cats did, and I gotta respect that, like I can't take anything away from it. Like that's respect. Is it dated? Hell yeah, but is it hilarious? Of course, and it kind of paved the way. And I don't know, where it sits in a historical sense, like as far as filmography or where, I think you would have to take a class to kind of see where Monty Python fits in. But I feel like maybe that was the start. If it's 1975, I can't imagine anything else prior to that doing what these cats were doing, and still continuing it and continuing that trend with a bunch of people just paying homage and kind of, everybody says everything's a ripoff of everything. But I feel like everyone does their due and pays respect to these guys, because that shit was, I don't know, to me was original for that time. I can't tell you another movie I've seen from 1975 that is doing what these guys did. You know what I mean? So I loved it, man. Like start to finish, like I loved. And like I said, it not only has the comedy value to it, but to be criticizing and have that social commentary of like government, religion, like everything. I was like, no, that's deep. That's deep. It checks off all the boxes.
Well, I'm glad you guys liked it and you thought it was deep.
You can mute the video now, guys.
Yeah, I found it to be extremely dated. I think I had one laugh in the movie, and it was like a quip that came when he was chopping the arms and legs off of the knight, where he kept on coming back after him like, I'm going to bite you. After his arms and legs were gone, he wouldn't give up. And, that I had to chuckle there. But, I mean, I tried to watch this movie 4 times. I fell asleep 4 times. And then today at 6 o'clock, I'm like, shit, here's some change. Especially for kids. Shit, I'm going to have to host a show talking about this movie that I can't sit here and watch. So I put it on in my garage, and I started fixing my bike, so I at least could halfway watch it while I was fixing my bike, and have something physically going on while it was going on, because although there were jokes and I could see them happening and I got the sketch aspect, to me it wasn't happening fast enough. And I think that nowadays movies have sped up. You get more quicker of a payoff. And I didn't think the punchlines were punchy enough, and some of the things were remotely fun. Like you know the coconut horse thing. It was like, oh, that's kind of silly, but like Gwen would be stoked about it. You know, as a 45-year-old guy, for that to be carried through the whole movie of with the horse, I'm just like, I didn't find it funny enough to keep on going the whole time as one of the major things that was like, it was
brilliant about
I'm
it.
too cerebral. I'm too cerebral though, you know, like if it's gonna be some kind of funny thing, like when the guy hucked himself in the wood chipper and he's like, and then they come back with the lines, oh, the kids are hooking themselves in the wood chipper. Like it was bam, bam. It was fast. It happened. And it was a quippy thing as a commentary on the fast thing that happened. And this was just very, it's dated and it's very British. And I've never been a big fan of Mr. Bean. When I was really young, when he would make faces, I thought, oh, the faces are funny. But eventually I'm just like, yeah, but to get paid millions of dollars just to make funny faces, like, you had to have some kind of an end somewhere. I don't know. I'm just too cerebral with it. And the fact that I fell asleep so many times while trying, I was trying so hard.
From all those bike rides. That's why.
Yeah, were you wearing your helmet when you fell the last few times?
I only fell once. It was actually twice in one day. But that was over a year ago.
That's all it takes.
No, man. It was. I was just like, man, you know, and I was trying, you know, I wanted there to be more females in it than just one witch. I was thinking that there was an opportunity for Maid Marian to possibly have been in there. Oh yeah, that was a good girl representation. A castle full of whores. That was a good.
You know, between the ages of 16 and 19. I mean, come on now, brunettes.
If I would have seen a little bit of, if I would have seen a titty pop out in the castle, then that might have swayed me a little bit more to your guys' thing. But
no,
I got
you
here.
need to watch like Life of Brian. You need to watch the Flying Circus TV show. There's plenty of boobs in there for you for that one.
Yo, there's boobs in there.
Plenty of boobs.
Not in this one, but
I don't need plenty of boobs.
In the other movies. You picked the wrong movie for boobs.
It would have just. I wasn't looking for boobs. It would have got my face back on the screen. I was more interested with, you know, cleaning the dirt off my pedals and having that kind of there. Like I literally had to do some other thing with the movie on in the background to keep from falling asleep for a fifth time at the deadline of doing this review. Like I legit was watching it a half an hour ago and finished. Only didn't finish because the movie doesn't finish. Like, so okay, enough about me. So you guys think so? It's you guys are. It's like 6-1 that it holds up and it's not hopelessly dated. I'm the one that says it's dated. Do I stand alone in that?
Yes.
Well, I'm not gonna say that the movie's not dated, but I don't think that really impacts it all that much. And I'm curious if memory serves. Terry Gilliam is the one who directed this movie, right?
Let me see.
Yeah, he does most of
the
it.
llama, or maybe a camel, actually.
It was directed by two people, Terry Gilliam and Terry Jones directed it also.
Yeah. So Terry Gilliam is also famous for The Adventures of Baron Munchausen and 12 Monkeys.
And Brazil.
So I don't know if you're a fan of those movies in any way, but maybe it's just his particular style that you don't care for.
I like 12 Monkeys.
12 Monkeys, that's the sci-fi one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that was dope. Yo, for real, that's dope. I did not know that.
He also directed that last one with that last movie with, was it Heath Ledger that died during it, like that, and Johnny Depp.
Johnny Depp and
come in and
other people stepped in and filled it out.
gaps.
Yeah, it was. That movie was weird too.
Mr. Magoo's Magic Emporium or something like that.
No, that wasn't me.
No, that's Dustin Hoffman, you weirdo.
I'm all hopped up right now, man.
Close. Heath Ledger, Dustin Hoffman. I can see where you could make that mistake.
My bad. I'm all hopped up right now, yo.
Oh, okay. Okay, fair enough.
All right, that leads me to could this movie be made today?
I feel like it is being made today, yo. Like I just said, like they pay that homage. Like we've seen so many skit movies like that. This particular one, yeah.
Well, here's the
I feel
thing.
like people like that fourth wall breaking. Look, you know, like I don't know.
You're usually very cerebral, Jose, and I love you. But saying that would hold up today using that metaphor would be like saying that rock and roll today, that Chubby Checker would be just as influential in rock and roll today because he came out with a twist in the 50s. Like, just because it's on the branch, but it's so close to the root that things have changed so much that I don't know. I think it's, you know what? I'm gonna put my kids on this one, and then I'll tag back on it, and we'll see how long an 11-year-old or a 10-year-old and a 13-year-old can sit through that. And I bet you a whole change for kids
Wow.
that they don't last 10 minutes, and that would be the test on whether or not this is surviving on nostalgia and you guys wanting to not disrespect it and pay respect to it, or whether or not it's actually a good movie for 2020 that somebody that was born when there was color TV would like to see. Because I think you don't want to disrespect it, and I respect that you don't want to disrespect it. But man, I really wanted to look at this with my 2020 lens, and I didn't want to pay. You know, when we eventually get to Empire Strikes Back, when we eventually get to Indiana Jones in those movies, I'm going to try to find the flaws in those from a 2020 lens as well. And I love those movies, and I'd probably fight somebody to the death over those movies being the best movies of all time.
Well, you know, when you have your kids watch it, keep in mind that they have your genes in it, so that might ruin it for them.
Oh.
Wow.
Well, there's other kids.
You imagine
We got other kids here too.
Hey kids, I need you guys to review this horrible movie. Everyone says it's good. I think it's not. You guys tell me what you think. And let me know if you want to. Let me know if you want to eat tonight.
We could do Liz's idea of a party after dark, where I'll sit down and I'll have a secret camera on my kids, putting them to watch this movie, and I'll try to catch all of the eye rolls and all that stuff. And we'll see.
I don't know, man. I think Miles will dig it a little bit. I think he'll get the humor that, I don't know. Miles seems like he's a smart cookie. I don't know. It must be from his mom's side, but you know, I'm just saying.
Is he in a rebellious mode right now? Because if he is set up the way I told you to, he's gonna be like, man, I hate my dad. I love this movie.
That's right.
Well, if he does love the movie, he will have his taste from his mom's side, and we'll say, I don't know. All right, let's see. So you guys all think that this movie could be made today and it would be just as great, just as it is, and I'm the only one who doesn't think so. We'll see if you guys agree with them, then comment below. If you don't agree with them, or if you agree with me, you can comment below too. But
I'd like to offer just one caveat.
Please.
John Cleese has been speaking out a lot lately about how people's sensitivity is too much these days. You know, that people are overly offended by things, and I kind of think that this movie might not be able to withstand today, not because you couldn't make it in the campy way that it's made, but rather because people's attitudes and their sensitivities about things have changed so dramatically that you can't do certain jokes because everybody be like whiny and offended. You couldn't play this like at a college movie night, you know?
I don't know that it had to, because I was kind of trying to put that social justice lens on it, not from my own perspective, but because this is one of the things that we're doing with this, right? Part of trying to see if it holds up. I didn't hear anything that I thought would set off a soy boy, but maybe
the animal cruelty of the cats being killed all the time,
Right.
the abuse of the animals. I could see people like, oh my god, I can't believe that movie showed that. Like I could see that, and then the whole burning of the witch and
Castle
there was barely
Anthrax.
any women.
Yeah. Being spanked. I mean, you know, all of the feminazis are going to come up on that one. Sorry. Did I say a word I shouldn't have said? My bad. But
It's all right. Just put $1 in the jar.
They're never, you know that, but a lot of this stuff wouldn't fly because of it. Could it be made today? Not. No, it'd have to be like a Netflix special or something where.
But I think the important thing to note is that while it might not have the audience that it had at one time, I think the guys that created the Monty Python guys themselves, I think they'd still make it anyway because I don't think they care.
They don't care.
Well, I don't think. Go ahead.
Didn't they make Spamalot and it was on Broadway for like a few years and it was like number one on Broadway before Book of Mormon came on and took over right after?
It might have been a situation though where it was a bunch of old people like us that were going to watch it. So there aren't as many of us around anymore.
They talked about it in The Office too, the Spamalot.
Yeah.
I don't think that they were, as far as a social justice lens though, those things that they were doing, they were still making fun of that time. So I think that when things are done in the right way, when you're making fun of witch burnings and whatnot, it's not like they were going and trying to say that we need to go burn witches. That's the kind of thing that would get canceled. But when they're making fun of, ancient notions that don't make sense, I don't think that those kind of things get canceled. So that's why I was like, it wasn't too strong to me. It didn't come off too strong to me. So, but I'm also, a little bit of a more right-leaning conservative type. So I don't necessarily know that I have the best lens for that either.
Lefty, I'm going to go ahead and say I didn't find anything too offensive or over the line. I feel like just about every joke could still be made today without offending, unless we're talking the most extreme end of the spectrum.
Yeah.
I couldn't see. I mean, well, like what in particular, what part do you think wouldn't be able to be? Because I saw it. I didn't feel like I saw it in a college setting. That was the first time that I saw it. I don't remember, and that wasn't that long ago. And I remember, like, I liked it then. I cracked up, and then seeing it now. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, I feel like it still could be made today. I mean, the better camera.
Bigger budget.
Bigger budget.
I don't think the social commentary would mess it up for today, but I think that they would have to speed up the jokes a little bit. The punchlines would have to be punchier.
The delivery
they would have to be punchier.
With no sound, there's no like anything really happening. It's just like a still frame. So I feel like they'd have to speed that up, cut that kind of stuff out to really get today's audience for sure.
And they have to sprinkle some fucking Adderall on the popcorn before they go and put that one out again. Okay, let's go around. We'll keep it in the same order that we've been going. Scott, Isaac, Lego, Jose, and I'll caboose it. Most memorable part.
I actually like all of the animated stuff that was like inserted in. I like the jumping of the clouds in the sun and it's like messing the guy up, and I like the little, all the skits are great, but I like the little animation stuff in between. It just adds like an extra like fun like level. That could be just because I'm a book person and I like all that illuminated text stuff on the side, and that's what it kind of reminded me of. But I liked all the animated skits and the beast with all the big eyes and how they animated that, because they didn't have a budget to CGI that guy in there. But
that animation style was common to the whole Python series anyway.
But I always liked those little quips and stuff that they did in all of their movies and the TV shows. So I like the animation portion of those things.
For me, it's hard to pick a particular scene, but if I have to pick like one of the sketches out of the movie, I'm going to go with Lancelot's invasion of the wedding at Swamp Castle. It's probably one of the funniest scenes because he just cannot control himself in any way. It's fantastic.
I wanted that scene too, but you got that one. I'm going to go with the bunny scene. When they're like, that bunny, he's a bunny. And then they go and that damn rabbit's just jumping at him and Kill him off.
Big
That
pointy
was good.
cheek.
I also like the whole very beginning when they're talking about the bird carrying the coconut. And just get
That's
into
right.
that whole
Follow-
rant about the bird and coconut. And then later on, you see a bird holding a coconut with a string. And that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot Bedivere does that. He's like throws it. Flicks around.
Love the whole historian at the beginning. He's talking about King Arthur and all that and invading and yada yada yada, all proper, and he just gets chopped down, dead. We think it's just a throwaway scene, just hilarious, right? And that ends up probably being the most pivotal scene in the movie. It all culminates in the end, and I thought that was brilliant and hilarious, and yeah, I that was the whole movie for me.
Sorry.
Mr. Vargas.
I love the credits.
Oh, at
The
the
credits when they're just going, and then they say that the guys got fired, and then it goes into, what is it? Like what language does it go into? Swedish?
It was in Swedish first, and then it goes into some kind of one of the South American dialects. It goes from Moose to Lana.
And then the way they switch out, like the other guys were fired, so we got new guys to finish up the credits, and the whole way that they roll. I don't know, man. To me, it's just like setting up and setting the tone and what the movie's gonna be. Like, that was perfect. I was like, hey, this is a great, like, this is what we're gonna be getting. You know, something that doesn't take itself so serious, and you know, like I said, it was the perfect beginning. Like, it hooked me right from there. I knew. I started laughing right when I was reading all of those, and it didn't let up. Like I said, to me, that was the perfect setup. It brought me in well, and it nailed it perfectly.
Yeah, one of those lines talking about how the suggestive poses for mooses were set up by like somebody.
That whole thing, man. That whole thing was brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, mate. That's not British.
Australian.
And I
Close.
touched on it a little bit
Territory.
earlier. I liked. I had one chuckle in the movie, and that was when the knight was getting dismembered, and he kept on fighting and talking crap the whole time. I wish I should have written down, because he did say a quip that I felt would have held up in a 2020 like fast-paced quip. I don't remember what it was. I might.
He said your mama.
I have the script. We can find it.
You didn't even like the little musical number where they arrive and we are the knights of the round table.
That's right.
I felt like you
I've
would have
never
wanted to
liked the
recreate
musical
that
number.
I have to push the pram a lot.
Let's not go there. It's a silly place.
Ends up not even going.
Something else, because it's silly.
What about the most noble of knights getting seduced like in a minute?
Oh, yeah. That's right.
It's brilliant.
We didn't
Brilliant,
even
nice
talk
Tony.
about
Yeah.
Braves Robin.
My favorite night was Sir not appearing in this film, and it just shows like the baby in like the little suit of armor. He's just like the very beginning.
The guy only wins the battle because the animator quit, or what was it? The animator didn't.
Oh,
have
yeah,
enough
he
money to
died.
finish it. He died.
That's right. That's how they got away.
Right.
Oh my gosh, Josh can't find it, so don't wait on him. Wait, there's the Black Knight.
There's the Black Knight.
We've got
Yeah.
Just a
minutes
scratch.
left.
No, there's that scene from the Black Knight when Arthur cuts off his other arm, and then he kneels down to pray, puts his sword down. Oh Lord, we thank you, and then he kicks him in the head. Oh man.
Yeah, that's the one scene that got a chuckle from me. So it was yeah, I get to be the old guy, the party pooper on this one. So let's go around and let's do our buckets. We'll keep it going in the same order on buckets, guys.
Wait, how
Scott's
many
first.
buckets were they again?
It can be
5?
up to 10.
Up to 10. Okay, I couldn't remember
10
what our
buckets.
scale was. I'm gonna give it an 8. 8 buckets. Solid 8.
All right.
Yeah, this last week I talked about the difference between lesser films and epic films. This film is foundational, like Jose said, for pretty much everything that has come since then. This is indeed one of those epic films. I have to give it 10 buckets.
Oh,
I'm gonna throw it right in there too, man. 10, bro. You have to. You have to appreciate
Have
what
you
it
not
did for
given it a 10
comedy.
yet, Jose?
I don't know,
Are
but I'm
you
giving
all
this one a
10s?
10. I think I gave it
You're-
10, but this is a 10.
Yeah, 10.
Oh,
No
not
right.
voted. I get kicked off the island.
Jose got
Nice.
10. What about Lego?
Oh, it's a 10 for me. 100%, dude. That's no surprise. I love this movie. I loved it as a 12-year-old boy because, you know, I was just drowning in chicks and I had nothing else to do except watch Monty Python. Watching it again, I was like, dude, this is still the best movie. And dude, 10 out of 10, 100%. Nate,
So
tell
I'm
me
gonna score it. It's gonna get one bucket for every time I fell asleep. So I give it a 4.
Nice.
And we're gonna change it from bucket to popcorn to kick in the bucket if we have another one that's this dreary. All right, that's my point of view on it. What is that noise?
It's Jose.
It's all right.
We got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Next week we're doing sci-fi. We've got Back to the Future, The Matrix, or Blade Runner. What are we doing?
Let's do Blade Runner.
Can I admit that I've never watched The Matrix? Sorry.
We got to do the Matrix then.
All right, The Matrix is on Netflix.
All right.
Okay. Can we please do that one? Because I never watched it. I'm sorry, y'all.
All right.
All right, Matrix it is. Okay, for late to the party, I'm Nate the Great.
I'm Liz.
I'm Josh.
I'm Isaac.
I'm Jason.
And
All
I'm
right.
Jose.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week with The Matrix.
All right.